3, where we are talking about all things shamanic. Today's video's topic is, what do shamans do? We will try to get general understanding of what was the job of shamans in the ancient times, and what can we borrow from that practices to improve quality of our daily life. We must understand that in the ancient times, life was far more difficult than our life today. The survival was a question of daily life. All life was divided in two parts. Settlement's council, or a single chieftain, was taking care of all mundane businesses, be that security, justice, or any questions that could appear from material world. And when things were getting less material, that was the shaman's job, to help people in the matters where power and force could not. And the first part that we will talk about is healing. We must understand few things about the times where shamans appeared. There was no medicine as we know it today. There was no science. There were no trials, and even no medication as we understand it today. More than that, we tend to think that values of humanism, human life, was on a first place all the time, but that is just not so. Our modern medicine is trying to keep patient alive, and after that everything else is on a second place. But if the ancient shaman or healer could see our modern hospital, he would be terrified, because keeping a man alive, no matter what, was a torture in his eyes. The main goal of ancient medicine was to reduce suffering. If that meant that life is ended, that was acceptable way. We not necessarily should do the same thing today. We have a lot of things to save people effectively with a modern medicine. But that is just a point to think about. Are we reducing the amount of suffering, or we just creating new types of that suffering? Think about it. On the other hand, there were always things that were not so simple, not seen by the common eye, but not less important. Shaman was a wise man of a settlement. He could give advice where no one else could, because in some way that is may be hard to understand for modern people. Shaman was in constant contact with the world of unseen. Previously, I mentioned that the worldview of shamans is very different from our modern materialistic view. If you are interested, you can find my other video called Where Do Shamans Live? For a modern man who is mostly materialistic, life is quite simple. The end of life is the death of physical body. There is nothing except what can be seen, and no one, except for other people, will judge your decisions. In the ancient worldview, things were different. The world of living people was only one small part of the bigger picture. And the dead ancestors, the spirits of nature, the spirits of earth, animals, and sky were our neighbors every day and were considered significant, sometimes even more significant than people. That was the source of great respect, and that was the source of many questions that people asked shamans, and only shamans could answer that. How could they interact with the world of the unseen? There are many practices. Let's say different people from different parts of the world will give you very different answers. Some shamans use psychoactive substances. Others consider that such use of substances is the sign of degrading tradition. There can be dance, there can be music, there can be any type of special breathing or anything that we can see all around the world. The aim of the techniques is to exit our common consciousness and enter another state where the limit, the wall between the worlds become thinner, where shaman can go beyond this wall and come back with the answers. If you are interested, later on the channel I will make a separate videos on certain techniques, so try to stay tuned. With that said, I wish you good luck and see you next time.